In this video, we are going to be learning about the angle of slope. And of course, we'll start by an example. What is the angle of slope of the line joining points 4, minus 3 and point 6, 8? Okay. Now, let's see how that goes. If this is the axis, the coordinate axis, this is y-axis and this is x-axis, and this is the line. The angle of slope is this angle that the line makes with the x-axis, not this that it makes with the part of the line facing the y and the negative x-axis, with the positive x-axis. Okay, that is what we are interested in. Now remember that the gradient of a slope is equal to increase in y over the increase in x. So when we look at this by trigonometric ratios, we see that this angle, if we call it theta, to get it, since we can calculate this, the increase in y and the increase in x, we can see that this is the opposite of this angle and this is the adjacent of this angle. And when we use SOHCAHTOA, that is that tan theta is equal to this opposite, which is actually increase in y over the adjacent, which is the increase in x. So that is how we come about finding the angle of a slope. It's equal to, and this is equal to the gradient of the slope, right? The value for the gradient of the slope. So we find out that the angle of a slope is related to its gradient by this relationship. Now let's get back to the question. So it's easy for us now that we've understood the concept. What we have to do is we write out the parameters we are given, and 6, 8. We name this x1, y1, x2, y2. We have that tan of the angle of this slope is equal to increase in y, y2 minus y1 over increase in x, x2 minus x1, which is y2 is 8, x2 y1 is negative 3, so minus negative 3 over x2 is 6 minus x1, which is 4. 8 minus minus 3 is 8 plus 3, right? So 11. 6 minus 4 is 2. So 11 over 2, which is 5.5 when we do that division. We have that tan theta is equal to 5.5. Then at this point, for us to get what that angle of the slope theta is, we have to say the tan inverse of this part. Now we get our calculator, and then we find out that it's actually equal to 79.7 degrees to 1 decimal place. That is what the angle of this slope is equal to. Find the angle of the slope of a line if the gradient is 3 over 5. So for this, we've been given what the gradient is and we've been asked to find the angle of the slope. So we have that the gradient from the question is 3 over 5. And remember that the angle is related to the gradient with this formula. So we have that tan theta is equal to 3 over 5. Therefore, theta is equal to tan inverse of 3 over 5. So we'll get our calculator and we do that. We have that it's equal to 30.9 or 96 to 2 decimal places, but 0.9 degrees to 1 decimal place. So that is what the angle of this slope that has this gradient is equal to. You can see it's easy to handle, right? Now, another variant of the question is the angle of slope of a given straight line is 150 degrees. So here we've been given what the angle is, 150 degrees. What is the gradient of the line? Correct to 1 decimal place. So our task is to find what the gradient of the line is. So remember that the gradient of the line is related to the angle of slope with this relationship, right? That the gradient is equal to tan theta. Okay, easy to do now, right? M is equal to tan 150. So we'll get the calculator to find out what tan 150 is equal to. Tangent of the angle 150 is equal to 0. That is negative 0.577 and so on. But remember, it's to 1 decimal place. So it's equal to negative is important, 0.6 to 1 decimal place. So that means this was a negative slope. So with this, we've come to the end of this lesson. We've learnt about the angle of a slope, and we know that it is related to the gradient of a line with this formula. And we've seen how to apply it in various forms. So your duty now is to go practice with many examples and make sure that this becomes a part of you.